But there's one other piece of this that you may not have heard about today that you should know about in the middle of this crisis. And honestly, you should know about it because I think it'll curl your hair. Again, remember, based on these two recent crashes of this type of plane that have killed almost 350 people, based on those crashes, and based on other similar descriptions from American pilots describing domestic flights here in the US in this type of plane, describing a similar problem that they have encountered in these planes, remember that what pilots at least are describing as the problem here, what their perceived problem with this aircraft is, appears to be related to some kind of automated system, an automated leveling system in this plane that for some reason on departure has a propensity or at least an episodic problem in which it unexpectedly yanks the plane's nose down toward the ground when the plane is supposed to be climbing. Well, the good news is it turns out that Boeing has in the works a software fix that they believe will address that problem in these planes. Good. The Wall Street Journal had the scoop on this afternoon, and where it ends is not good. But here's where it starts. Quote, Boeing is making an extensive change to the flight control system in these 737 MAX aircraft, going beyond what many industry officials familiar with the discussions had anticipated. The change would mark a major shift from how Boeing originally designed a stall prevention feature in the aircraft. The company spokesman confirmed the update would use multiple sensors, or data feeds, in the plane's stall prevention system instead of the current reliance on a single sensor. The change was prompted by preliminary results from the Indonesian crash investigation of Lion Air Flight 610 in October. Those preliminary crash investigation results indicated that erroneous data from a single sensor, which measures the angle of the plane's nose, caused the stall prevention system to misfire. And then a series of events put the aircraft into a dangerous dive. The anticipated software fix from Boeing, quote, will limit the extent of the flight control system's downward push on the plane's nose. That seems like a good idea. How soon are they going to have it ready? Well, according to this scoop today from the Wall Street Journal, the FAA, U.S. aviation regulators, are now expected to mandate this change in software in these Boeing planes by the end of next month. Okay, so that's still a ways off, but at least it's in the works. They believe they've got a way to fix the accidental nosedive problem. You know, why didn't you say so? How soon could this thing have been ready? Should it have been ready before the Ethiopia plane crash this week that killed 157 people? Well, here's the backstory on the timing of when this thing is going to be able to be rolled out. Ready? A software fix to this particular flight control feature had been expected early in January. But discussions between the FAA and Boeing dragged on. Officials from various parts of Boeing and the FAA had differing views of how extensive the fix should be. U.S. officials also say the federal government's recent shutdown halted work on the fix entirely for 5 weeks. So did everybody enjoy their 35-day government shutdown? I mean, you might have thought we got nothing out of that as a country. But it turns out not just us, but the whole world got something. We got a 5-week delay in the implementation of the software that they think will solve the unexpected nosedive problem in the Boeing 737 MAX-8 jets. And in the meantime, Ethiopia Airlines Flight 302 has crashed, killing more than 150 people. The investigation into that crash is now underway, closely on the heels of the other 737 MAX-8 crash that happened in Indonesia. And now countries all over the world and airlines all over the world are grounding these flights. Sometimes in the middle of flights, turning those flights around and grounding them, grounding these planes, prohibiting these planes from even flying through their airspace, throwing global passenger aviation into chaos. And maybe now this gets fixed by the end of next month. But in the meantime, here in the US, continue to enjoy your flights on Boeing 737 MAX-8 aircraft.